So I just finished watching the Leah Vincent Katie Couric show, and so here's my reaction. First of all, I'm sort of happy that she went on the air and she vented her grievance, etc., and explained to the public. I'm sure there's millions of viewers watching the show, and explained what things are like, sort of, growing up ultra-orthodox. But on the other hand, I was also very critical of the way she described her upbringing and her experience. For one, why are they choosing someone? I mean, she's not the typical OTD, the person who goes off the derekh, somebody who leaves an ultra-orthodox background. Most of Jews who are ultra-orthodox nowadays fall into the category of Hasidic, and certainly the ones who are referred to as OTD come from a Hasidic background. And the Hasidic background is much more restrictive and oppressive than the background that she comes from. And this is, of course, not mentioned in the show. And secondly, they chose her because she was a woman. And once again, women in general have a much less restrictive upbringing, and everyone knows this. This is very widespread, commonly known among people in the community and even some outside, that the women get a better secular education and they get to assimilate and to mingle with the outside world with less oversight and less restrictions. And the reason for that is complex, but suffice it to say that this is a known fact, and they don't mention this in the show. And so what's really happening here is that they're handpicking somebody, by they I mean the Katie Couric show, they're handpicking somebody who is a poster child for the cause. Okay, so it's a good story. It's an evocative, sentimental story. Somebody who comes from a very disadvantaged background, and they just pull themselves up by their own boots, and they just make it. Okay, so and this, which brings me to my second point. She talks about her. Three things that I want to mention. One, she says she was in Israel. She was wearing this sweater that was immodest, and her parents cut her off. They called her back home, and they refused to support her financially, and they ostracized her. Okay, they didn't want to have nothing to do with her. So, one, she's exaggerating here. I mean, what do you mean they ostracized you? I mean, they didn't do to her any more than my parents did to me. Which essentially, namely, is that my parents didn't support me when I left. Okay, I left about the same time that she did, late 90s or early millennium. I'm not sure exactly the date that she left, but and this is actually justified to an extent, because if you're going to behave in a manner inconsistent with the rules of the community, then why should as a member of the community, why should they support you, right? Now, of course, you might argue, well, you're also a member of a family, right? But you are an adult, right? And you're choosing to leave the community. And since this is such a tight-knit kind of social structure, it is sort of understandable that they wouldn't, as an adult, and she admits she had her own job, right? So, I mean, the kind of sympathy that she's trying to garner from this story, they ostracized her. I mean, come on, you ostracized yourself. You chose to leave the community. That's not ostracization. And then they read the letter. So Katie says that she contacted her parents, and they write a letter that they still love her. And of course, no, that's when everyone... and then she responds to that it was really traumatic, this whole experience, and she's like a triumphant response. You know, they tried to hurt me and subdue me, but here I am, strong and flourishing. And everyone applauds. Yes, you made it. What are you applauding about? Yes, congratulations, you made it, but your parents do love you. It's a very sad event for parents in the Hasidic community for a child to leave. Now, I know it's sad for both parties, I understand, but don't, pretend as if she's the victim and the parents are not. The parents are a victim too. They basically lost the daughter because the daughter left an extremely close-knit community that doesn't accommodate both worlds. So it's either you're here or you're out. And that's an unfortunate fact, but that's how it is. They lost each other. So don't pretend as if it's like completely one-sided. They're ostracizing her and refusing to support her and etc. Okay, which brings me to two other points that I wanted to make. He talks about going hungry. What are you talking about going hungry? You had a job. I mean, the most basic necessity in life is food, right? I think so, right? I mean, other than air, which is free. So don't tell me about going hungry, please, please. Come on. Again, she's saying things to evoke, to arouse people, to stir up people's emotions. Oh, I feel so bad for you. I feel so sorry. And then she goes to lastly, she talks about being raped. Oh my God, please. Oh, despicable. I hate when people say that. Okay, what she is describing is, at best, is what is now called date rape, which means that two people courting by mutual consent, okay, both the man and the woman are agreeing to see each other and to court, to be involved romantically, and the woman isn't ready for sex yet, and the man exerts pressure and has intercourse with her. Okay, under a circumstance that she wouldn't have if she had been able to make her decisions in an unpressured manner, then she would have resisted it. So this is what's commonly called date rape. At best, this is a case of date rape. At best. Now, I'm not denying that something happened. Okay, something happened, but to call it rape, and why is this even relevant? Okay, and then she says that, and it ruined my life forever. Really? You went to Harvard? Was that afterwards? From the chronology of the story, it seems that happened afterwards. And either way, I mean, she seems to be happily married now, and she has children, and then she's talking about her triumphant overcoming of all those challenges and etc. So, this didn't. Come on, no. This didn't. And if it did ruin your life forever, you're a fucking loser. You are, really, because I see people with much worse disabilities, and they are prospering and making do with what they have. So don't tell me that one act of date rape ruined your life forever. Okay, that's not the case. And so essentially what we have here is a situation where they are choosing the Katie Couric show is choosing someone who has a nice story to tell, and you just spruce it up a little, and you make it sentimental, and people listen to it, and it reads like a novel. It's a nice story. But it doesn't represent reality. Okay, this is not the real portrait of a typical person who leaves, and it's a little bit perverse, this, because it's actually it gives a wrong impression. Okay, the real challenges lie not in going hungry and cutting off of the support and being raped. All of that is just completely obfuscating the whole situation here. The real challenge lies in and she actually did touch on this, to her credit. She did talk about her emotional and social isolation. That's the real challenge. And I would add another thing, which is the network, the social network, in terms of, and also economic and occupational network, which is also very essential. As a member of the community, you get to be employed within the community, if need be. Of course, you can still go outside and work in Manhattan, but most people, in one way or another, find their job through leads in the community. And so, and of course, socially, you can have them as friends, and they will support you and help you whenever necessary. So that's the biggest loss by far. And she did touch on this, to her credit, but that wasn't the juice. Okay, the highlight. The highlight was her getting raped and going hungry and all that bullshit. Okay, so, but you know what? All right. Okay, the old ladies just they applauded her. They enjoyed it. Okay.